Money is always a hot topic, especially when the possibility of $2,000 stimulus checks is floated by former President Trump. Suddenly, people are asking, is this real, or just another headline? In this video, we'll dig into exactly what's being proposed, what's realistic, what's necessary for it to happen, who could benefit, and what you should watch for so you don't get caught believing what might be wishful thinking. If you've seen headlines or social posts saying $2,000 checks approved, hold on, this video will help you separate fact from fiction. What has Trump proposed so far? Trump has publicly floated the idea of issuing $1,000 to $2,000 rebate or stimulus checks to Americans, funded by tariff revenue collected on imported goods. He has framed this as a way to return to people some of the revenue generated from import duties. In interviews, he's suggested these checks could act like a dividend to citizens, sharing back some of the gains from tariffs. The proposal is not yet a law, it's a concept under consideration. He says tariffs generate billions, providing the funding source. Checks floated in the $1,000 to $2,000 range. Calls it a distribution to citizens from governmental revenue streams. Emphasizes giving people a break amid inflation. Why it's gaining attention now? Why are people suddenly talking about $2,000 stimulus checks again? Several reasons have fueled the buzz: inflation, costs of living, food, gas, housing, all rising. Relief measures are politically appealing. Tariff revenue growth. The administration claims higher tariff collections, giving them rhetorical ammo to propose sharing some of that with citizens. Political messaging. It's a headline proposal that plays well with voters, promising direct money to people gets attention. Pressure from lawmakers. Some members of Congress have introduced or supported similar rebates or stimulus ideas tied to tariffs or revenue surpluses. It's a confluence of economic, political, and messaging forces pushing the $2,000 check idea into public conversation. What must happen for it to become real? A proposal is one thing, implementation is another. There are several major hurdles before any $2,000 checks become law. Congress must pass legislation. The House and Senate must draft, approve, and pass a law authorizing the payments. Budget and fiscal rules. Funding must be allocated and balanced. Rebates would need legal authority to distribute the money. Government accounting and revenue sources. Using tariff revenue is complex, revenues fluctuate, legal limit constraints, and accounting transparency are required. Political negotiation. Even if Trump proposes it, Congress, especially with divided control, must buy in. Compromises and modifications are very likely. Implementation logistics. Once authorized, the government would need systems to verify eligibility, process payments, and distribute the funds. Until these steps happen, the $2,000 checks remain speculative talk. Who could benefit most if it passes? If $2,000 checks do become reality, who stands to gain most? Low to middle income households. Relief proposals often target those feeling inflation the most. Families and dependents. Some rebate plans allow extra per dependent. Consumers under financial strain. Those with tight budgets would likely make the most practical use of the checks. Geographically impacted areas. Regions with higher cost of living or economic stress may feel the impact more. But remember, eligibility rules, income floors, ceilings, and phase-outs may limit who sees the full amount. Who probably won't get the full $2,000. Not everyone will qualify for the maximum amount, even if the proposal passes. High earners. Many stimulus or rebate plans phase out or exclude high-income individuals. People who don't file taxes or aren't in systems used for payment distribution. Those with inconsistent records. Addressing eligibility, identity, or income verification could drop some from full benefit. States or localities with conflicting provisions. If states have their own rebate laws or tax structures, they might interact. So the full $2,000 is likely reserved for a subset of people under the final law, not a universal payment. Realistic scenarios and amounts. Let's look beyond the $2,000 headline to more realistic possible outcomes. Scenario A, a full $2,000 payment for qualifying individuals. Scenario B, scaled or partial payments, some get $1,000, others $500 depending on income. Scenario C, tiered approach, $2,000 for lowest bracket, smaller or no payment for higher incomes. Scenario D, alternative form, credits or rebates over time rather than lump sum. In many cases, the final check will likely be less than $2,000 for many people, rather than everyone getting the maximum. Timing, when, if ever, could it happen? Even if the idea becomes law, timing is critical and uncertain. If introduced in Congress soon, debate and amendment could take months. Even after passage, distribution logistics take time, verifying data, processing payments. Some payments may arrive late in the year or in the following fiscal cycle. Delays are almost guaranteed, especially in complex or high-volume payment programs. So don't count on seeing $2,000 checks in your account next week. It's a long road even in the best-case scenario. Risks, objections and criticisms. Such a proposal also draws legitimate criticism. Inflation risk. Injecting extra cash during inflationary periods could drive prices further. Budget deficits. The cost must be funded. Large rebates without revenue can worsen deficits. Legal and constitutional challenges. Using tariff revenue for direct payments may face judicial or regulatory blocking. Political pushback. Opponents may argue it's populist policy over fiscal responsibility. Fairness and means testing debates. Deciding who gets full checks and who doesn't can be controversial. These criticisms often become central in debate, so they can delay or reshape any final law. What you should do right now. Assuming you want to be ready in case this passes, here's what you can do. Keep track of your tax filings, bank, and personal information. Watch for congressional bills and read their eligibility criteria. Be cautious of scams that claim you can register for checks prematurely. Stay informed, subscribe to reliable legislative news sources. Plan your budget around realistic outcomes, not headlines. Final thoughts and what to watch. At its heart, the $2,000 stimulus check idea is partly political messaging, partly possible policy. It's real in concept, speculative in execution. If it passes, many will benefit, but probably not everyone will get it, not in full, and not immediately. It's a long legislative path ahead, full of hurdles and changes. So here's what you should watch: which lawmakers introduce the bill, how they fund it, tariffs, general revenue, etc. How eligibility rules are structured, when the bill moves from proposal to law, and most importantly, don't let the headlines make big promises, look for the fine print. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit like and subscribe to stay updated when this evolves. Drop a comment. Do you think you'll receive a $2,000 check if it becomes law?